Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one, coming to you with a Wednesday market recap. Hope everybody had a very beautiful day and a great start of the week in terms of trading. Now, in today's markets, guys, we had a little bit of a mixed day in trading. SPY was up ever so slightly, about 0.12%. QQQ really carrying the market on its back, up about 0.21%. And XLF and XLV are other two major sectors taking a little bit of a breather. So in today's video, guys, we're going to take a look at the rotation in the markets. Are the markets still healthy, or is it still a little bit too tech heavy? And obviously, guys, no major macro news for today, but tomorrow will be a fairly notable event. We have GDP numbers coming out tomorrow, so that is going to be definitely on the watch. Supposed to come in a little bit better than last time we got a GDP read. And then on Friday is going to be a very big day as well. We have our core PCE and PCE numbers. So the Fed's preferred gauge of inflation, that is supposed to as well come in lighter than the month of June, or rather than the month of May as well. So we will see whether or not the inflation trend to the downside can continue and maybe get a little bit better still. Now, if these two numbers obviously come in very good, well, then the markets will just be unfazed and continue grinding higher as the bulls retain full control of all our major timeframes, the monthlies, the weeklies, and still in daily uptrends. So as of now, guys, markets are still relatively healthy. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into today's video. We are going to do our major technical analysis rundown in terms of our indexes, then get into big tech names, and lastly, take a look at my portfolio for the trades made throughout the week. So let's get right into it, guys. So as you can see, guys, SPY up about 0.12%, QQ about 0.21%, but the rest of the market not really cooperating today, right? As a whole, guys, most of your major big tech names were up again. Amazon and Tesla really carrying the market, with Apple pretty much as well. The rest of big tech a little bit mixed. NVIDIA was actually red on the day. Nice to see them close green. Financials and healthcare a little bit weak though, guys, but that is okay. Why is it okay? Because we will take a look at our rotation, guys, in the markets, and you can see QQQ as of last Thursday, right? Thursday, Friday, and Monday were red days for technology. In that same time, we were talking about rotation. If QQQ decides to take a little bit of a breather, you need to see financials and healthcare, our two other major sectors, make up for those losses. Did they do it? As you can see, yes, that same period QQQ was red, financials were green, and even still healthcare was green as well. So doing a great job in that rotation. And now that QQQ has been up for the last 2 days, financials down 2 days, and healthcare down 2 days as well. So you can see that balancing act that the market is currently still going into. The rotation, in my opinion, does still appear healthy. Now, in terms of our technical analysis here, guys, right? Let's do it very quickly because not much has changed, even though I haven't uploaded, guys, in about 4 or 5 days. My apologies once again, right? It was a business trip more than anything. Trust me, if I was on a beach somewhere, I would definitely get you guys those videos every single day. No questions asked, right? However, since it was more of a business trip more than anything, you guys know a lot of networking events go into that, a lot of dinners as well. So I was rarely at my hotel much before midnight, 1 a.m. So even though I would have loved to do those videos, guys, it was just a little bit too tight for my schedule. So apologies for that. Hopefully you guys understand. Now, in terms of the SPY, guys, we are still in a relatively very healthy uptrend, right? Nice daily uptrend, looking for the higher low right here. Anything pretty much above 539.77 is going to try and maintain that higher low and push for the furtherance of the uptrend. However, if we were to roll over the course of this week, let's say tomorrow's GDP numbers are not fantastic, and let's say Friday's inflation numbers come in hotter than expected, then you may get the lower high into lower low scenario, daily downtrend on the SPY, and then you may be looking into a little bit of weekly consolidation, but the bulls have tons of space, guys. Anything above 518, going to be looking for that weekly higher low for the eventual trend continuation. Keep an eye on this level for your first touch on the weekly. 531, 532 lines up very well with the 12 EMA. So we'll keep an eye on those two news releases over the next 2 days. But as of now, guys, the bulls remain in full control, not even losing the 12 EMA for a decent amount of time, pretty much the last 2 months of trading. Now moving on to QQQ. QQQ also the same, pretty much still a very healthy daily uptrend. Got the higher low in pretty much 2 days ago, right? At around 474, right? So that is our new higher low. Now we are going to be looking for the continuation of the uptrend. However, if ever we start rolling over, and how do you know we roll over, guys, on the daily? Keep an eye on the hourly trend. If the hourly trend breaks to the downside after this nice rally up, you will know that your daily move is most likely topped out, and then we'll be looking to these lows to act as our last line of defense. If we lose them and lose the daily uptrend, it will be time for a bit of weekly consolidation after a nice 3.5 weeks of rally, and that could maybe bring us down into into this level right here around the 12 EMA, talking around 459, 460-ish for your first line of defense. Anything above 443, however, just going to be looking for that weekly higher low for the furtherance of the trend up. Now, everything looking very good. As I said, bulls still in full control, guys. Monthly full control, weekly full control, and still daily full control. So we're on the watch for a potential weekly consolidation. But as of now, until we get a break of the uptrending scenario, right? Until we get lower high, lower low, your daily uptrend is still in full control of the bulls. Moving on to XLF now. So financials doing okay, but we're still kind of range bound, trapped within this area. No clear trend direction, right? The bulls had an engulfing move, looking for the higher low to maybe get that trend expansion to the upside going. We are still looking for anything above 40.4 to be our higher low and make that trend change attempt by the bulls. But as of now, looking a little bit soft on the day here today. So we will be on the watch for the reversal into a potential hourly uptrend. Need the credit cards. In my opinion, guys, really need Visa and MasterCard to start carrying financials, right? The banks have been doing a very decent job. We're just waiting for some of their credit card issuers to really start carrying this market higher, right? Because they do represent a decent weight in the financials index as a whole. And I do believe they are poised for a rally quite soon. So we'll be on the watch on that for financials on the weekly as well. Very tight weekly range, right? The one thing you don't want to see is a break of 40.34 to the downside. That would just be an extension of the weekly downtrend. And then you'd be looking to the monthly lows to be acting as your last line of defense. So all in all, not opposed to further consolidation, guys, but we need to keep it tight for it to be remaining healthy. Now moving on to healthcare. So healthcare also not looking too bad. Gorgeous daily uptrend right here. Still looking for the daily higher low, anything above 144.62. Looking for that daily higher low for the continuation of the uptrend. Now, where is the level below us that we need to watch out? Well, it's right in line with our daily higher low right there, guys. This level is very big. The 50 EMA is sitting right there. Previous support going to be newfound support again. So if the bulls do choose to pull down into here, set a double bottom, that is where they need to stop, because if ever we go lower, loss of the daily uptrend, and you'll be in for weekly consolidation right away. And then anything above 140.71, going to be looking for that weekly higher low for the eventual trend continuation. So healthcare, not looking too bad. The bulls still working with a lot of space, and they do control the monthly, they do control the weekly, and still in relative control of the daily uptrend as well. So as long as this market rotation remains healthy, guys, I don't see any major red flags in either of our three largest components of the S&P 500, QQQ, financials, and healthcare. Now moving on to semiconductors. So semiconductors, guys, you may very well remember the titles of my videos last week, right? Semiconductor sell-off will mark the local top, and semiconductor sell-off just the beginning, right? That's what we were looking for. We were on the watch for this, hugely overbought conditions on the daily, and we were looking for a little bit of a pullback. And now we finally got it pretty much since the last Thursday session. So semiconductors, although we have pulled back a lot, we are still in a daily uptrend. Anything above 250 was looking for a daily higher low for the potential continuation of the uptrend up. However, now the bears have taken back a lot of the move. Put the fibs on this, you will see they've taken back roughly 80% of the move, which could line up at best for the bulls with a tightening range, maybe consolidate a little bit, grow into the valuations a little bit up here, and continue cooling down some of this weekly time frame, right? Little bit of weekly consolidation. Now, that's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, guys, is we set the lower high into lower low. If ever we get the daily downtrend, that will be the first daily downtrend on SMH since pretty much all the way back here in April, and it should be notable to us. Why? Because if that happens, guys, weekly consolidation will be going a little bit deeper. If it does come deeper, guys, I would be targeting this location right here. It kind of lines up with the previous all-time high and also kind of lines up with our 12 EMA. A lot of support down there on the daily time frame. You can see it better, right? So that would be my first touch area in the event that semiconductors have a more significant size pullback. But all in all, not looking too bad right here. It's just for me, it's going to be really tough for me to buy it up here, right? My favorite name in semiconductors right now that hasn't run as much as the rest of the industry, even though they are at all-time highs, is ASML. I really like how ASML is building a shelf right here above your prior all-time highs. It's looking very, very good for the breakout, retest trade, and run a little bit further. And the valuation on ASML, even at these levels, is quite decent, right? So we did this analysis after their earnings, a few a few months ago, pretty much at this point. And at that point, they were trading around a 1.51 peg at 1,050, right? Now we're significantly under that. I do like ASML's valuation up here. So that's pretty much everything for your semiconductors market. Everything looking fairly decent. And we'll take a deeper look at NVIDIA, of course, later on in the video. Now, moving on to the Russell. So the Russell still struggling here is the Russell, right? Why? Just because the risk on trade is not that prevalent here, guys. Whenever the Russell has a red day, something like this, always take a look at your yields. And you will see that yields have come up a significant amount today, right? What are we trying to do on yields? Yields are still trying to just continue this slow grind lower in terms of your 20-year and in terms of your 10-year as well, right? Trying to set that weekly downtrend continuously in motion, and then eventually trying to get this monthly downtrend underway ever since we've been in a monthly uptrend since pretty much the start of, or rather the end of the pandemic, right? So that's what we're really looking for in longer term yields. And in my opinion, guys, until we start really getting closer to that first rate cut and until bonds really start rallying, the Russell unfortunately will not be able to really start doing leaps and bounds to the upside, right? I still do like it in this level. However, we are in a daily downtrend right now, looking to protect these lows right here, 197.66. If we can protect that, guys, we might have a chance at resetting this daily uptrend. Would like to see us recapture all of these moving averages as well and really start setting up, guys, for the weekly higher low and start pushing into this 212. However, if the bulls really get trapped down here in this lower level, this red box, which was a huge area of congestion back here, right? Big support, huge resistance for a long time, and just overall congestion, right? I would not be opposed to looking to maybe start a little position down here in the lower 190 area if the markets ever do allow us to get those entries. Now, lastly, moving on to the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones not looking too bad at all, guys. Had a very nice rally after last week's trade. And what were we looking for here, guys? We were looking for the daily uptrend to be set by the bulls, which is exactly what happened. So still looking for the daily higher low right here, anything pretty much above 38,300. Going to be looking for the daily higher low for the continued trend expansion. It is reacting beautifully off of this previous resistance right here, right? Newfound support, and all of your moving averages are sitting right there on the chart too, the 12, the 26, and the 50. So it's a very, very juicy area for the bulls to build a little bit of a support and just continue this daily uptrend north. I see no red flags. On the weekly as well, what are we trying to do? Just looking to continue this weekly uptrend higher. So the bulls did a great job of protecting this lower bound range right here, talking about 38,600 down to about 38,300. We pointed that out on the chart quite a bit. And now just looking to expand this trend to the upside and really start attacking these previous all-time highs right around that $40,000 mark. So the Dow Jones doing a great job of recovering off the bottoms. I see no red flags. Bulls still remain in control of the monthly, remain in control of the weekly as well, and the daily uptrend anew. Now, moving on to crypto. So let's take a look at crypto, guys, because we haven't done it in a few days. So Bitcoin just continues its slide to the downside, right? Really, really sharp daily downtrend right here, coming into one of our lower levels of support. The 200-day moving averages right there, and we have a big level right here at 58, right? 58's acted as a one-time touch back here in the month of May, but the reason why this is so big, guys, it is pretty much a congestion area of your prior all-time high. So the 58, a very, very big level right here. You can see the 26 EMA is there as well, and we really have not lost this 26 EMA since the rally started last fall. So very, very big level on Bitcoin coming up. That being said, the weekly not looking too bad, right? Just a very, very wide range, and Bitcoin also gets lumped up in that risk on trade, similar to the Russell and similar to other growth stocks. So that is why Bitcoin is just not able to push right now amongst the renewed uncertainty surrounding inflation that pretty much started in March and April when we had those 3 hotter than expected reports in a row, and just the uncertainty as to the timeline of the rate cuts. I do think that Bitcoin will respond very well to the rate cuts when they do come, but may just be a little bit muted until that time, maybe over the next month, month and a half, right? I'm not expecting Bitcoin to just start breaking out for no absolute reason, but it is very healthy consolidation at the tops right here, guys. In my opinion, still a decent time to be building a long-term position for Bitcoin if that is if you have the correct long-term thesis. If your correct long-term thesis is the fact that Bitcoin is a hedge against the unfortunate inflating away of the fiat currency system, then that is the very prominent thesis that a lot of institutional investors have, right? But if you're just looking to speculate on it, then obviously that thesis holds less weight. So it obviously depends why you are in Bitcoin for. If you're looking for a swing trade, not opposed to starting a little bit of a position here in the high 58s, that's perfectly fine. And if you're looking for a longer term hold on Bitcoin, well, then at that point, guys, it becomes a DCA position as any of your other blue chip names. I might continue to buy Bitcoin pretty much once every couple of weeks, irrespective of the price, just because my long-term thesis is going to be playing out probably for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years type of thing, right? Moving on to Ethereum right now. So Ethereum not doing too bad, even though they are in a daily uptrend right now. The reason, daily downtrend, excuse me. The reason I say not too bad is because we do have a very large support area that we're coming into, right? So let's get some context. We were in a weekly downtrend for a very long time, huge ETF news, and now we're looking to set up for the weekly higher low. Anything above 28.72, looking for that weekly higher low for the potential resurgence of the weekly trend to the upside, right? Now, keep in mind, we're coming into this big level of support, 33 all the way down to about 31. This is going to be the area, in my opinion, the bulls cannot lose if they want to keep this weekly trend shift possibility alive, right? If they pull back too much, guys, you guys know the drill. Best case becomes a tightening range. The worst case becomes the setting of a weekly downtrend. As of now, we will see what they can do, reacting nicely from this level, but the bulls still need to set up for the daily trend change. Until there is no daily trend change, we cannot say that the weekly lows are set. So that's just a little bit on crypto. Now let's move into some big tech names. And big tech, a lot of them have moved significantly since our last time we've spoken, namely Tesla and NVIDIA to the downside, but namely Tesla and Amazon have really started rallying in the last couple of days, right? So looking very good on those. Let's start it off though with Apple. So Apple looking very, very decent, right? What we were worried about on Apple coming out of this large move here is that it was due for a little bit of consolidation, which it did get. So daily downtrend was started on Apple. Now the bears are going to be looking to set the lower high and potentially you start revisiting these lows, right? Anything pretty much above 206.79 is going to be the bulls' chance to reset the daily uptrend. So it's all in the size of this bounce, right? When we're looking for the bottom of a daily downtrend like this, as soon as you see the bulls bounce, measure the size of the bounce, right? So now the size of the bounce by the bulls is fairly good. We got above the 618. So the bulls have created a lot of space with this hourly trend change right now that could warrant maybe the setup of a new daily uptrend back to the bulls. Taking a look on the weekly, guys, the weekly is still a little bit extended, right? Little bit extended on the weekly RSI, still just looking for eventual consolidation, not looking for heavy consolidation like this, but even just sideways consolidation, guys, for another week or two would not be a bad thing for Apple. I do maintain, guys, that my ideal trade location for Apple would pretty much be anything under 205. 205 down to 200 seems very fair for Apple for me, just because, guys, as of now, at around 214, the PEG ratio is about a 3.08, which is a little high. So even if it does come down to 205, 200, that PEG ratio is not going to change very much, but at least it's a better discount. And at least if Apple continues to drop, we're coming into our lower bound of support range right there, right? So even if we take a little bit of a swing trade here, 205, 200 on Apple, we know that there are very large bulls sitting here between about 200 and 195 that could really back us up in the event that this weekly motion to the downside continues, looking for the weekly higher lows and then potentially continue running later on in the year. So all in all, Apple looking very good. Just tough for me to start a position right here, but I like the size of the bounce. It'll be up to the bulls to prove to us that they want to get that daily trend change back. Moving on to AMD right now. So AMD, guys, still struggling, right? We've been pretty much in this location right now for almost, for all intents and purposes, a month and a half, right? No change there. So what is AMD trying to do? Still looking for the daily trend change. Still no daily trend change, unfortunately, guys. And they're battling, right? The thing that I noticed on AMD every single morning, guys, for about the last week and a bit, I don't know if it's someone very, very big selling, but I've noticed the common thing over the last couple of mornings, right? Every single time between 9 and 10 o'clock, it opens really hard to the downside and then either just does nothing or comes right back. Take a look at this. Opening candle, severely red, right? Another one back here. Opening candle, severely red. Opening candle, severely red. Except for this one. Look at all these opening candles, guys. Opening candle to the downside, right? Opening candle to the downside. So I don't know if someone big is selling at the open, but it definitely does look like it, right? So that is how I'm playing AMD. For some short puts, I'm looking for a break to the downside at the open, and I'm looking to really wait for 5-minute oversold conditions and then writing short puts around that 152, 150 location on AMD, my preferred trade trade location for the stock. Now, what do the bulls need to do, guys? We need to get a stop right here, right? Cannot break these lows, 153.40. Looking for the daily higher low to get this daily trend change underway. And for that, we would really need a break of 163. Give me a break of 163. Daily uptrend will be confirmed. We'll be above all of our moving averages, and we'll really start breaking above this location right here, this red box. We've been really trapped under this one for a while now, so that is what the bulls need to do. If ever we lose this location and set up for the continuation of the daily downtrend and maybe continuation of this weekly pullback, as I've said, guys, 150 location for AMD seems to be a very juicy location of future support for the stock. I will continue to play it down here in these levels as the premium is fairly good on this one. And I do believe that this one eventually, guys, it's coiling up for a big move. And in relation to the overall semiconductors market, I do believe that that eventual move will be a move to the upside. Now, I hope they can do it before earnings because earnings is still about a month away. So sideways action into earnings, although I would like it for some short puts, right? Well, you know, it would be kind of boring to say the least. Now, moving on to Amazon. So Amazon finally breaking above now the previous all-time highs and moving towards the $200 psychological level that we've been hinting at on the channel for a while. So Amazon looking extremely healthy daily uptrend right now. As soon as this move is topped out, going to be looking for a daily higher low. Anything above 185.36, looking for that daily higher low for the continuation of the uptrend. Now, keep an eye right here, guys. We're now above our all-time high resistance. So in the event the bulls put in another day, maybe day and a half of rally, and then they start cooling off, well, we have a huge fallback level right here. The moving averages are going to curl up into this location right here, and that is pretty much your 190. So 190, big prior resistance, will now be a very large current area of support, looking very good. The hourly, after such a ridiculous move, is a little bit overbought here, guys, but no reason that they can't continue that into tomorrow's day of trading. Momentum on this one is looking very good, so congratulations to all of the Amazon bulls out there, especially those of you that have been playing Amazon with me so aggressively down here in the lower 180 range. It was pretty much free money, in my opinion, just because of how ridiculously fast Amazon is growing, their free cash flow, and their bottom line margins. It's not a very prevalent thesis in the market right now. I don't hear very many people talking about it at all, but this is a huge business shift for Amazon. It's never done this in its company history, focusing on bottom line margins and expansion of EPS at all costs. Usually it used to be a top line growth company. No longer, guys. It will now focus on bottom line profits and free cash flow, potentially maybe seeing some share buybacks by Amazon soon. Now, moving on to Google. Google also looking extremely strong here at the end of the day today and even yesterday, right? Breaking out here. Daily uptrend is gorgeous right now. And now we've really broken out of this area that we've kind of been trapped under for about a month. Same concept as Amazon. So as soon as this move is topped out, going to be looking for a daily higher low, anything above 175.50-ish, looking for that daily higher low for the trend continuation. So a little bit of a trade setup. If you're looking for trade continuation into further all-time highs, very, very simple. If we come down here, test the 12 EMA once again, get as close as this area as possible. 181, 180 is a trade entry for me. Your stop loss goes below the lows right here, 175, because then that invalidates the entire trade setup. And then the take profits, guys, well, I would be keen to looking for maybe 195 all the way up to $200 psychological. It may take some time, but it is looking good. On the weekly, Google is looking extremely strong on this weekly, guys. Look at this gorgeous weekly uptrend. So in the event that we do have a little bit of a move to the upside and then daily downtrend slowly into this level, all good, guys. Just looking for a weekly higher low, anything pretty much above 171.41. So much space for that eventual weekly higher low for the trend continuation. So Google is looking very, very strong. No real red flags. The weekly isn't too overbought right now. And even the daily, guys, not really overbought condition. So Google still has a bit more juice left in the tank, in my opinion. Moving on to Meta right now. Give me a very brief second. Excuse me. So moving on to Meta. Meta looking extremely strong as well here, guys. And this is pretty much one that's played out perfectly since our thesis, right? We were looking for the continuation of the daily uptrend, little bit of a pullback, getting as close as possible to our previous line of support, which was also resistance back here. So we wanted it to retest this level, right? It didn't quite get there. We were maybe a couple dollars off. Let's call it about $7 off our ultimate target, but the trade idea was good. Always looking for that daily higher low for the trend continuation, and now it looks like we're going to get it. Keep in mind, we're coming into an area of resistance right now. That is pretty much 531 down to about 516. So we're pulling up into it right now. So if ever the bulls can't get it done in one clean shot, they'll be able to create a lot of space above right here, 493, to set up for the daily higher low for the maybe second attempt at that trend break to the upside. Meta looking extremely strong right now, guys. No red flags at all. And the valuation, as per last week's video, is very good. Weekly uptrend continuation as well, looking extremely good. Weekly higher lows were set last week. So now it'll be up to the bulls to really start carrying momentum into the all-time highs. I really like Meta at this point for the all-time high eventual breakout. Their free cash flow is insane. Their net margins are insane. What they're doing with their Llama suite is also insane, guys. Just such a strong, a very, very strong company, regardless of what your personal opinion is about Mark Zuckerberg himself. You have to look at the numbers of the company, guys, right? Numbers don't, numbers don't elicit an emotional reaction from anybody, right? The numbers are what they are, and Meta's numbers are fantastic. So looking very good on Meta. Moving on to Microsoft right now. Microsoft also up on the day, pretty much setting new all-time highs, right? Over the last couple of days, just grinding higher as Microsoft does. No fancy moves, no 5-6% NVIDIA days, just a steady grind to the upside. So daily uptrend is very healthy right now. Daily higher low is right here, 441.64. So in the event that the bulls get a little bit tired up here, they do have a decent amount of space. Anything above that 441, looking for the daily higher low for the eventual trend continuation there by the bulls. However, if we were to give this up with maybe a little bit of QQQ weakness, right? Well, then we may just be looking for a bit of a weekly consolidation phase for Microsoft. And at that point, anything above 404, guys, could be looking for that weekly higher low for the eventual trend continuation. Looking very, very strong on Microsoft. Personally, myself, I can only really start playing this one, guys, if we get closer back to about 435, 430, back to our prior all-time highs. The only logic behind that trade, I'm just looking for the breakout of the all-time highs, retest, and then run. I would be looking to play the retest trade on Microsoft, but as of now, it's kind of a little bit too high for me at these current levels, trying to play any further all-time high breakout, but still no red flags, right? Full monthly control, full weekly control, and full daily control as well. Personally, myself, the way I trade, I just want to come back into a bigger area of support before making that trade myself. Moving on to Netflix right now. Netflix up about 0.79%. Netflix has been doing very good, right? So daily uptrend is pretty much clear as day at this point, right? Gorgeous trend expansion by the bulls. They've set the daily higher lows yesterday at 662.33. So one of two things is going to happen, guys. Either they continue this daily uptrend into the all-time highs, and the all-time highs are pretty much very, very close at about 693.700. So we're getting into that area very quickly. We were actually almost there last week, and another leg higher will pretty much push us into that level. However, if we were to roll over on tomorrow's trade, right? Let's say we lose this hourly uptrend into hourly downtrend, and we don't break the highs. We set a lower high and then roll over into a lower low. Well, just know, guys, that the weekly bulls have tons of space, anything above 627.74, looking for that weekly higher low for the eventual trend continuation if they can't get it done right away. And this fallback area is a juicy one here, guys, right? This whole 655 could be a very juicy area for a little bit of a swing trade setup if we ever pull back in that area. And we're looking for the break long. Stops would pretty much go below 635 because that invalidates the trade. And then we're pretty much looking for the all-time high breakout. So let's call it take profit would be about, so the entry should be about 655, 660. Our target is 700. So that's about $30, $40 worth of upside right there, and our downside risk is limited to about 635. So let's call it, for all intents and purposes, we're looking for 40 to the upside and about 15, 20 to the downside. So still a 2-to-1 risk reward trade on Netflix for a little bit of a swing. Now moving on to NVIDIA. So NVIDIA finally starting to come down a little bit. At least it did for about 3 days. Take a look top to bottom on NVIDIA, guys. 16%. Now I know it doesn't feel like that because this was really a gap up open into profit taking, but still from that all-time high, it was down about 16% before heavily reversing yesterday with a nice almost 7% day to the upside. We've been waiting for this on NVIDIA for a while here, guys, right? NVIDIA was pretty much just straight up since its earnings and not much daily consolidation to be had. Now we finally got the consolidation, but there is one little issue with this consolidation, guys, and you should see it right away on the chart. It is the size of the pullback, right? It is 100% pullback of our most recent leg to the upside. So what probabilities wise now, right? Now that obviously this is NVIDIA, but what the probabilities do state is when we do have 100% retracement like this on any name or index, guys, usually it favors the bears for a lower high into a lower low attempt. It doesn't mean that the bulls can't stop them right there, set a double bottom and maybe reverse this into a daily uptrend, but usually we do get lower high and a retest of these potential lower areas around 117, 115. So I'll be keeping a very close eye on that. If you want to see when that's going to maybe start manifesting, guys, just look for the potential continuation of this hourly downtrend. You see, they had a nice little bounce here over the last couple of days, and today in jeopardy of losing that hourly uptrend. So if they lose that into tomorrow, guys, daily move higher is done, and then we'll be looking to revisit. The size of the bounce as of now, guys, is okay. It's not the best, only about a 40-45% bounce. So it doesn't guarantee the bulls can actually hold up this level and push. For that, we would need to see a larger form bounce. Then we can have more confidence. Okay, the bulls are probably going to be able to recover this daily uptrend. If for ever which reason we revisit and crack these lows, is it that big of a deal, guys? Not really. On the weekly, look how much space we have for a pullback, guys. Anything above 76.39, looking for a weekly higher low for further trend continuation. So even if we lose this 115 area, could be targeting maybe 110 down to about 105 for a potential next line of defense for your bulls right there. So all in all, I will continue to play NVIDIA, guys. If I can get some short put opportunities, guys, 110 down to about 100, this whole range right here, that is where I'm going to be heavily playing NVIDIA now that their share price allows me to finally write some short puts on them. Now moving into Tesla. Tesla finally breaking out to the upside, guys. We've been waiting for this ever since they really gained this level right here, right? Looking very, very strong. So gain of the level, cracking above all of this resistance, and then holding above that area of resistance. That's exactly what we wanted to see, guys. Breakout, retest. Now it was a slow moving retest, and now we finally get the run. So beautiful daily uptrend by Tesla right now. As soon as this move is topped out, going to be looking for a daily higher low, anything above 180, let's call it. Going to be looking for that daily higher low for the continued trend expansion. Now Tesla is also above this nice little level of resistance right here. Let's call it about 186, and also healthily still above our moving averages. So I do believe this move on Tesla will continue. Look where we got rejected today, guys. The 200-day moving average, and we are coming up very close to our $200 psychological level. Now, keep in mind, guys, next Monday are Tesla's deliveries. So we will see what's happening there. And keep in mind, throughout the quarter, what were the notable changes that could impact Tesla's delivery? Well, early on in the quarter, guys, they actually started giving consumers favorable financing. So Tesla was offering in-house financing for about $99, for about 0.99%. So they were absorbing the difference between that and the market rate right now, which is about, let's call it, Tesla can probably borrow at about 5.5%, maybe 6%, something like that. So they're absorbing that cost, right? Now, obviously, Tesla will be able to refinance those in-house on their own, but at least the consumers will be able to lock in that 0.99% financing for 5 to 7 years, which is what most people are accustomed to when they're looking to buy a car. So all in all, guys, Tesla's looking very, very good for the breakout right now. No red flags, in my opinion. The bulls are doing a great job. And even on the weekly, guys, we finally have some weekly trend expansion to the upside. So going to be looking first tentatively for that 200 psychological level, then just a little bit higher at these guys right here, pretty much around the 220. So looking very good on Tesla. Moving on to Palantir right now. So Palantir, you're dropping a little off after its huge rally over the course of last week, but that's okay, guys. The bulls have created a ton of space since starting the rally about 4 or 5 weeks ago down here in the lower $20 range. So on the daily, you may think that, this is a big move to the downside and they may be setting up for lower high into lower low, but at least on the weekly, if that does happen, guys, we have so much space. Anything above 20.5, just gonna be looking for that weekly higher low for the eventual trend continuation. So Palantir is still in a little bit of consolidation area. One thing is for sure, guys, if we do retest these lows, towards, let's say, lower $23 range, that will probably open up some short put opportunities into the 22s. And that's where I really want to start playing Palantir in terms of short puts again, looking very, very strong. Couple that with the fact that we're coming up on a very big area of support, right? It was a big congestion area for this stock in the past. Huge support back here. I am expecting this one to stay as support for the bulls, and that is 23.10 down to about 22.28. So if we start revisiting these lows, guys, I'll be probably looking to shop for some short puts, $22 range, as I do really think that Palantir has a great chance of setting this weekly uptrend in motion and start attacking this $28 level at a later point in time throughout the year. Still no earnings for a while for the company though, only in August. And now lastly, PayPal. So PayPal breaking down here today again, unfortunately, guys, and we were commenting on this, right? I remember saying in my Thursday's video right before I left that this was PayPal's chance for a daily bounce. And if the daily bounce was to be successful, we needed to at least get up to about $63. Start clearing this zone, which was previous support, right? And start clearing it so then we can use it as former support as well. However, now you can see what happened. They didn't even really get much into it. They used it as resistance, and unfortunately, the bulls have just rolled over again. So daily downtrend currently still underway for PayPal. Very unfortunate. And we're coming down into the last line of defense for the bulls, in my opinion. 58 down about $56. So hopefully the bulls can hold up this range right here, guys, because that is the range since pretty much last December, right? Very, very long-term support. Would not like to see the bulls lose that, but the bears are coming into this one with a lot of momentum. And the worst part is, we're not even daily oversold, guys. And the worst part is the fact that this little short-term bounce did cool off the 4-hour time frames enough that we're not even oversold on the 4-hour either. So PayPal just not having the best time at all, unfortunately, guys. I'm going to be waiting for this one to cool down a little bit just because now we've really lost also the weekly, guys. I was really counting on this weekly support level, but now that we're, unfortunately plunged back into a weekly downtrend, going to be tough for me to touch this one at all. I want to get as low as possible on this stock. It's just so out of favor. And personally, I've been playing a lot more Square and SoFi as their fundamentals arguably are better than PayPal's. Maybe not in terms of the value, but in terms of the growth metrics, which is what Wall Street's looking at most closely. SoFi and Square, unfortunately for PayPal, they do have better growth metrics. So that's just my little take on PayPal. I wouldn't be opposed if we pull down in this area hard. Wouldn't be opposed to be writing some 56, 55 puts, but I'll be looking to maybe do a larger short put play position. I need to see some daily oversold conditions, guys, because we can just grind down lower without having daily oversold for a long time. I need to see a one big down day from PayPal, 2-3%, get me daily oversold conditions, and then I'll write puts even lower than where we end up there. That's pretty much everything for our daily market recap here, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Now let's take a look at some of the trades that I made for the week. All right, guys, so let's take a look at some of the positions here. So let's do a quick update since I didn't do a Friday video, right? So there was a lot of positions that I was holding into last Friday, but pretty much all of them expired worthless. We had these CP 77.5 puts. Those pretty much expired worthless. We are good. So we collected all of the profits there. We had some ON semiconductors, the 66s. Those also expired worthless. Very good. Collected all the premiums, the AMD 155s as well. And the Pepsis, we got called away on the Pepsi 165s. Very happy about that one as well. It was a quick little in and out 1 week to the next trade on Pepsi. Very happy with that. We also had Amazon, the 180s. Those obviously got expired worthless too. So that's pretty much wrapping up last week. So last week we got assigned no positions whatsoever. It was just a very good week of running the wheel strategy. Now in terms of this week, so you can see that I did, even though I wasn't here, guys, obviously I'm still trading, right? So on the Monday session, we wrote the Palantir 22.5 puts on the Monday, only 4 contracts because I was waiting for it to maybe drop a little bit more to add maybe 5 or 6 contracts more. So we got filled 17 cents for the 22.5s, which is a very good return, right? About, let's call it about 0.7% for the week. And look what happened. We were able to pretty much buy them back that same afternoon. So we pretty much really picked the lows of the Monday session on Palantir right at the open right here. You can pretty much, if I can bring it up and just recap the Monday session right here. Where is it? So Monday session right here at the open and then rally into the close, right? So we were able to close those almost worthless. So 17 to 4 cents, pretty much 80% profit. So I'll take that in one single day of trading every single time. We also wrote the AMD 152.5s for about $1. Still have those. We wrote the NVIDIA 111 puts when the stock dropped 6% on the Monday session. We really caught it at the low of the day towards the end of the day. And we were able to really close this one yesterday for a very decent profit. So you can see we wrote them for 86 cents, which is largely above our 0.5% rule. And then we closed them for 17 cents just yesterday. Very, very good trades as a whole. The rest are pretty much trades that I still have open. So let's take a look, guys. Now, we did open a few positions since the week started, of course. Now let's run through them. So Enphase was a new position that I put on pretty much yesterday, just because the drop on Enphase has been so significant, right? Talking about almost 40% or 30% rather, top to bottom. Not quite daily oversold, but the lower time frames were oversold. And I do like this let's call it mid $95 range, right, for a little bit of a bounce scenario. So that's why I went with some Enphase. I haven't played Enphase a lot in the past at all, just because solar is a sector that is out of favor right now. But in the mid 90s, guys, I will take a little bit of a stab at it. So that's what we did right there. You can see position is still open and is playing out nicely. So we'll see how this one closes by the end of the week. We did Fortinet today. So Fortinet was kind of a little bit red today, not too much, but did offer us a little bit of an opportunity. We wrote 2 contracts at $57. You guys know Fortinet. I love the $57, $55 range coming into my big location of support right in this location right here. I love writing Fortinet there. So I chose to write the 57 puts for about 15 cents each contract. Got about 2 contracts out there. Now I know it's not 0.5%, but keep in mind, guys, it's Wednesday already, right? So there's only really 2 days of trading left. About, midway through the day, I took this position, guys. So kind of half in the week. So if you were to take a full week on Fortinet, if we were to annualize this premium, you would see that it's actually not so bad, right? A full week would have been roughly 30 cents premium on this. And that's pretty good. That's about 0.5%. So I'm very happy even with the premium collected on this one. Now moving on to AMD, we still have those infamous AMD contracts that we opened all the way back here, the 152.5s. Same ones, the ones I opened for $1. They're performing fairly decently. So we'll see what happens with them towards the end of the week. Wouldn't mind being assigned in the event if I do. We also wrote 1 contract on one of my favorite stocks that I rarely ever talk about. But look at this chart, guys, right? So this is pretty much, if you guys don't know, this is what's called it's called Kushtar. And essentially what it is, guys, just think about it as it's our equivalent in Canada of 7-Elevens, but the 7-Elevens that are attached to petrol stations or gas stores, right? So I'm not too sure what a direct equivalent would be in the United States. However, this company is extremely solid runs. It's actually one of the best companies in Canada in terms of the fundamentals and their growth. They almost, I mean, there are a few competitors every here and there. However, they almost, for all intents and purposes, you can say it's almost a monopoly, guys. They have the most amount of convenience stores in the entire country. And as I said, it's pretty much like 7-Eleven, right? They are absolutely everywhere. And even if you see other branded companies, well, most likely this company owns those as well, right? So very solid company. I like this location right here, 76, 75. Now, I was a little bit cheeky with them, just a little bit aggressive with it, just because I love the company so much and it's been consolidating for a while. So that's why I went a little bit aggressive, 77 puts, 52 cents for Friday. We will see if I get assigned or not, but I would be very happy being assigned on these guys because the weekly contracts are quite juicy around this level. I'd love to play more short puts and even covered calls on these. We have also CLH, we opened these on the Mondays, or no, it was yesterday, as a matter of fact, that I opened these. So 53 puts for about 30 cents. I love the lower 50 range on CLH. So we'll see how these go. So far, so good. GIS, this was one that we played for earnings yesterday. So as you can see, guys, we wrote these $65 puts for 35 cents prior to earnings. There wasn't that much premium on them. I really like this lower level on General Mills, right? So talking about anywhere 65, 62 range seems to be a pretty decent range. Now we are in the money ever so slightly because I have the 65s. We'll see how this week ends, but I wouldn't be opposed to really, owning this stock down here just because it is a very solid level of support. And I really think it's more of a consumer defensive stock. So I really don't think it's going anywhere. Moving on, guys, we did do a little play on Micron for earnings as well. We got 21 cents for the 110s. The expected move on Micron was about 12%, and the 110s from where Micron was trading was significantly away here, guys. So the Micron was trading prior to earnings, right, around the 142 mark, and I went with the 110s, 23% away. And happy to say, guys, that Micron in the after hours is pretty much only down, they are down about 5.3%, but nowhere close to assigning me whatsoever. So I'll probably be able to close those for pretty much worthless tomorrow. And now just a few more to go through. So NVIDIA, I did make another attempt at NVIDIA. Went with the 116 puts, a little bit conservative. I wrote those today for about 40 cents here, guys. So just looking to collect as much premium as NVIDIA as I can, just because the premiums are so juicy. Now, this on a weekly or annualized basis, the premium for this, considering there's only 2 days of trading left, is quite good. And so far, the trade is playing out nicely. We have some square covered calls. They're pretty much almost worthless. Our premium, the only reason we're in square covered calls, I'll remind you, we got a signed square a while back, just looking to bring down our average cost as much as possible. Our average cost on square right now is in the $64 range. So really not too far from the current share price. Nothing wrong with that position at all. We also got rid of our Intuit shares, stuck to the plan here, guys. You remember our average cost was around 605, and we sold them here today for about 639. So very nice, guys. I got about a $370 profit on Intuit today over the course of the day, looking extremely strong all throughout the day. Pretty much, we sold them out 638.50ish, really the top end of the day, and that was essentially the exact trade that I was looking for, looking to target this whole range of congestion, right? And we pulled up into it, so that's when I sold. Pretty much, I got my first amount of shares up here, more down here, and then pretty much our average cost was about 605, this red line, and we sold them right where I wanted to, so stuck to the plan. Very good. Got about 5.5% return for holding them for about 3 weeks, so very happy with that. UPS, sorry, I didn't show you guys. UPS, I was in that one yesterday leading into FedEx earnings. I've been telling you guys I like UPS in this lower range right here, and yesterday's big red day pulling down to the 134. I really like the possibility of writing the 132 puts, and a little bit of a risky play, but it did play out here, guys, right? UPS 132 puts wrote for about 61 cents, almost 0.5%, and we pretty much closed them over the course of the morning today for about 4 cents, right? So pretty much all good there. Been making some really good premium this week as a whole, guys, if I do say so myself. Couple more trades here, guys. New ones, right? You guys have been familiar with the CRM, the CLH, the Amazon call, so I won't talk about those. Tesla, we did buy some Tesla 210 calls for next Friday, guys. I'm looking to play. It's a deliveries numbers plays and a Tesla trend expansion play. Speculative bet, but I'm willing to take it, guys, just because there's been so much negativity around Tesla recently. I think that any good news will be extremely well received by the market, especially after what happened with Rivian yesterday, right? With the Volkswagen news. Looking to make a little bit of a gamble on these. Got these towards the end of the day. Could have probably got them a lot cheaper earlier on in the day, but got them at the end of the day here, guys, for about $1.55 each. So we'll see how those play out. And the rest of everything is the same, except for I added Vici. I've been mentioning this one for a while on the channel here, guys. I like Vici, right? In these lower levels, $27, $26. Looking for a little bit of a swing trade back into the $30 range. The company is so solid. It's just exposed to interest rates, right? Because it is a REIT, essentially. Still one of my favorite REITs in the market. And the other one that I'm looking to play aggressively also is Canadian Pacific Railway, right? So those are kind of the two more defensive, more value-oriented names that I'm looking to play swing trades on. So that's pretty much the logic behind that. And nothing else has changed except for I do have an Ulta Beauty position right now. So sorry, guys, there's a lot of trade to recap, but I'm trying to explain the logic as quickly as I can and not spend too much time on them, but we'll go over them more in detail over the course of the week too. So we did an Ulta Beauty bull put spread. So this is a put credit spread right down here. 380 against 377.50. Now, I reminded you guys, whenever you're looking for credit spreads, always look to get 1/3 of the width of the spread in premium. So you can see the width of the spread here is $2.5. In other words, $250. And how much did we get? We got about $84 for those, right? So 84 divided by 250, roughly 1/3, right? So it's looking very good. I do still have a decent amount of wiggle room on those for Ulta Beauty, but I like Ulta Beauty, guys. It's coming to a big area of support, and any little rally at all whatsoever down here, guys, any little daily uptrend breakout, and it looks like it wants it, guys. Any little breakout should put a lot of this premium in my pocket real quick. These are for pretty much mid-July, July 9th. These are July 19th. So looking fairly good on those. Only one contract though. And then lastly, we did one to the upside. So we did a bull call spread. So this is a bull debit spread. And for this, guys, I'm always looking to make at least 2-to-1 risk to reward. So this one is the 395s against the 400. So essentially what it means is you buy the 395s and you sell the 400 calls. It's just a cheaper way of playing calls for Ulta Beauty. The share price is very high, so call options are very expensive here, guys, right? So what I'm looking to do is we're looking for it to close above 400 by my expiry for us to be able to collect the full amount of gains. And how you would derive the gains, guys, as well, I paid $2 each for these, right? And the maximum I can get is the width of the spread. So the maximum I can get for each of these is $500. So I buy in for $200 and my max profit is $500. So about a 2.5 risk to reward there, looking pretty decent. I think it's a conservative level as well. So I have 2 contracts of these. So we'll see. Both of these are bullish leaning positions for Ulta Beauty. Just looking to play any and all pops back into about roughly the $400, $420 level. Not even looking for much, guys. Just a little bit of a bounce rally on Ulta Beauty should give us some very good gains on both of these positions. So that it's pretty much everything for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys appreciated it. If you did, you guys know the drill. Please drop a like for the growth of the channel. Would really appreciate it. And as well, consider subscribing to the channel if you're new, guys. We do these videos every Monday through Friday after the close and do the daily market recaps, obviously, except for when I'm not there on a business, rare business vacation like last week. And as always, guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, just drop them down below in the comments. Anything you want, stock analysis, TA, an options play you want a second opinion on, macro discussion, anything you guys want, leave it down below. And tonight I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions that I didn't have time to get to in the last couple of days. So thank you so much for watching once again, guys. Have a great day of trading. I will see you tomorrow after the close. Peace.